Come on in, Alexi Lalas,
Yeah.
one of the great soccer players in the history of American soccer.
Hello. Let me go to the brains of the organization first. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Fabulous.
All
True
right.
legend.
Hello, young man. How are you?
I'm not
Look
that
at
young
you.
anymore, but
My goodness, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
totally.
Oh, my goodness.
So Alexi's just such a big deal. So behind the curtain, so my daughter does like a dance thing, and she was in this performance at the end of the year. And I park and I roll up, and who do I see? Alexi Lalas and his wife. And you should see when he walks into a building, how many people are like, "Oh my, that's a soccer legend."
That guy owes me money. Yeah.
And also, he's going after a certain U.S. soccer star for sitting out a big upcoming tournament. I'll let you take it away because you said it great on your podcast.
Well, listen, we are, for all intents and purposes, we're a year away from what I think is going to be the biggest soccer summer ever from a United States perspective, the World Cup in 2026. This summer, we have the Gold Cup, which, by the way, you can see on Fox. We'll be bringing that to you. Christian Pulisic, who is, not arguably, I think he is our biggest star and absolutely is a in-pen starter for this U.S. men's national team, has decided that he needs to rest. Now, look, athletes, I get it. At times you need to rest. The problem is that, way back before you guys were born, if I had thought about what the summer of 25 would look like relative to the summer of 26 when we're going to host the World Cup, I don't think that I would have envisioned the negativity and the cynicism, and this is probably the worst part, the apathy relative to this team, given their recent failures and given the worry about what's going to happen next summer. And so, look, Christian Pulisic is going to be fine. He'll get his rest, and I think he'll star next summer. But this was an unnecessary own goal in that this was a summer where you had the opportunity through the Gold Cup to come in, do well, and kind of regain some of that momentum and that belief that I think is necessary and is missing right now, and not just the soccer public, but the greater public, that we need to cultivate over the next year to have the best damn World Cup ever on the field and off the field, by the way.
I'm just curious, do you think internally USA Soccer, when they heard that, there were like alarm bells going off? Like, guys, come on, why isn't he, like load management?
Yeah. Oh, load management is such a load of crap.
What is he, 26 years old?
Look, and I know I try not to grumpy old man things. I recognize that I played in a different time, but I cannot fathom or understand or relate to ever saying no to my country when they call me. And I don't think that this is a generational type of thing, because I see plenty of other players that play every single game for their country and would move heaven and earth to get on that plane to go wherever it is. Not for nothing, but Messi plays a lot of games. So I think it's concerning. I think it was weak, like I said. And I also think that Pochettino, who is the new coach of the U.S. team, in a strange way, I think he kind of played this wrong. Maybe not. Maybe this lights a fire and said, all right, Christian, you're going to get the summer off, but you better bring it for this next year and obviously next summer. Or he could have played it where, you know what? I'm going to take the heat for this. I'm going to say, Christian, you wanted to come in, but I'm going to make you go rest. And I'm going to take the heat for it. But he didn't do that. So it's going to be very interesting, the dynamic that exists this summer. Hey, look, I'm all in on this group that's going to be this summer because they have a great opportunity, again, a year before the World Cup, to show their wares, to prove to Mauricio Pochettino, who you're seeing on your screen right now, the new coach of the U.S. national team, who's being paid $6 million a year, but this is a short-term type of thing. He has to make sure that he assesses this group and make sure he has the best collection of players. Not the best players, the best collection of players, so we hit the ground running next summer.
So is there a world where there is a positive here? Hey, you know what? We don't need him for the Gold Cup. Let's see some new young guys, some fresh blood in there, new coach. I'm sure some of these young guys who are itching to get on the field are like, hey, this is my opportunity.
Yeah,
I can impress a new coach.
There's a Dumbo that you can fly without the feather. Don't worry, you're going to be good, and you can do this without Christian Pulisic, and it just augments it when he comes back to the team. But to your point, I think what we're going to see here at maybe the last chance saloon for guys to step up, guy like Diego Luna, who's playing over in Salt Lake. Young guys like Sebastian Berhalter. Yes, you might recognize that name because he's the son of previous coach Greg Berhalter, who got fired, who Mauricio Pochettino took his position. But he's playing really well up in Vancouver. I think this is an opportunity for them to step up and say, you know what? I would never refuse a call with my national team. I'm going to show you what I can do. And next summer, come next summer, I'm going to put on that red, white, and blue and do good things.
Now, historically, we've dominated the Gold Cup, but is it fair to say we're not a lock this year, given some of the guys who are not playing for us?
Well, we have gone to Gold Cups in the past with what would not be considered our A team and still won it.
Right.
So, yes, this is, if we were to win the Gold Cup this summer, and again, the Gold Cup is just relative to our region.
Yeah.
So North America and the Caribbean. So, you have your usual suspects in terms of Mexico, Canada, which is doing a really good job right now. But usually we are, winning it or going to the final. And I would expect nothing less in terms of this group. Now, you get a pat on the back, well done, and a feel-good type of moment, but obviously you have greater aspirations, and it gets much, much more difficult to win an actual World Cup. But you know what? You play the tournament in front of you, and if we've won it so many times in the past, fine. This group, go out there and prove to everybody that you are worthy of our time, because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
People are forgiving, I think, especially when it comes to the soccer world. They want to see a team that they can sink their teeth into and believe in, that represents what I feel is the greatest country in the world, both on and off the field, in the way that they play, in what they give. And you can, it's like the Supreme Court definition of obscenity, right? I can't tell you what it is, but I know it when I see it. Well, we know it when we see it on the field for the U.S. men's national team, and unfortunately, we haven't seen it enough.
Now, you and Stu Holden had a pretty good debate about Pulisic, and I feel like he should be out there. And I don't want to get you to say something you don't want to, but in a way, he's kind of letting us down, not playing. Like, Fox obviously would love him to play.
Yeah. I mean, is he letting us down? Only because of the moment. Again, players can take time off, and I don't get it, to be quite honest.
Okay,
I don't get it. I don't know if he's letting us down, but I think he is putting actually more pressure on himself going forward. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. And again, I just think it sends the wrong message at the wrong time. I mean, look, World Cups are great, but I am sitting here in this chair not just because of a World Cup, but because of a home World Cup. It is a whole different level. And yes, guess what? Not only is it an opportunity, but it's a responsibility. And for those of us off the field, we have a responsibility to make sure that it is the most kick-ass event that the world has ever seen. And on the field, Christian Pulisic and company, they have a responsibility to make sure that we don't regress, not just in the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of America.
So realistic, last one on the U.S., realistic for 2026. Quarterfinals?
Sure, absolutely.
Semifinals reaching too much?
Yeah, I mean, look, in 2002, we were arguably a handball away from going to a semifinal.
Was
so
that
things can happen.
Korea?
Soccer gods have to smile upon you. Also, keep in mind, this is the biggest World Cup ever, 48 teams.
That's right.
Which means there's actually another round. So there's 8 games now in order to win the World Cup. So absolutely getting out of the group, that shouldn't even be a question, regardless of who they draw. And then you win that round of 32, I guess it would be. And then you start facing some real teams that you could look at as equal or better than us. But at some point, you got to win a big game.
So we talked a lot about Pulisic. A certain guy named Messi is playing way more than anybody thought he would, playing like full games at this stage in his career. Are you surprised? Because a lot of people thought it was, he's just going to come to the MLS, do a victory tour, collect some checks, and be done. He's playing a lot. I'm personally shocked.
I mean, what he's doing for soccer, obviously for Major League Soccer and for Inter Miami and that brand down there is exactly what he is being paid a lot of money for.
A lot, yeah.
But that he is doing it at that level, that's a pretty cool thing to see. Now, we're about to do the Nations League, by the way, coming up on FS1 today.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo and company playing with Portugal against Germany. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano's 40, but it was always been kind of about his physique and his physical abilities, as opposed to Messi, who you see him walking down the street. If you don't know anything about soccer, you're like, I don't know. There does not go the greatest, potentially the greatest player ever to play the game. But it's wonderful what he's doing for club and country. Excuse me. But it's going to be really interesting to see a year from now, not just Messi with Argentina, but Messi defending his World Cup. Oh, by the way, in his new homeland and backyard of the United States.
That's pretty incredible. You mentioned Ronaldo. It sounds like he's done. He had his little trip to Saudi Arabia. That's over, maybe?
I mean, he got paid, that's for sure.
Listen, is there a world where he lands in the MLS?
Yeah, there absolutely is a world where he lands in the U.S. I mean, kind of the final frontier for him. And when I say him, we're also talking about his brand. I'm here for it. bring it. I love it. I know that, the whole retirement type of thing gets thrown around, but these are arguably two of the best players ever to play the game. And that we have them, and you just mentioned what Messi is doing is great, but they've also, their brands are relative to what they have done with each other and against each other over the years. And to kind of rejuvenate that would be kind of cool.
I got to ask about, everybody wants to know who's got next, right? Yeah. So we thought Messi would probably have retired. He sounds like he's going to play in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
Ronaldo, I'm going to go ahead and guess he's going to play too. But we're waiting on Mbappe, and then this young kid comes up at Euros last year. I happened to be in Europe during it, and it was like, Yamal, this guy's... Does he have next? Is he on that stage? He's only 17. He turns 18 next month.
It's incredible, and I think we were actually just talking about this in the green room because we're going to be talking about it on our Nations League coverage today. I think that he is hurt by the fact that he's a teenager, and it's unfair because not only do I believe he's the best player in the world today, but he's the best player in the world today who just happens to be a teenager, and that's how quickly this has happened. The other thing is, we were just talking about Messi. At their height, Messi and Ronaldo, we talked about how, well, we're never going to see this again. Nobody's ever going to perform at these types of levels. And yet, and this is a great thing for the sport, whether you're La Liga, whether you're Barcelona, whether you're FIFA, or whether you're just into the sport, that it can happen, that another player can burst on the scene, young player, grab our hearts and minds, and do things that we thought never would be done again. I think that says a lot for the player, but it also says a lot for the sport. The sport evolves.
Now, listen, I know you're a hot take guy, but Yamal over Mbappe right now?
Oh, yeah.
Like, no question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Mbappe's great. And I'm talking about it relative to the Ballon d'Or, or if we were just doing a pickup game here. Who you picking, right?
Well, I like speed, so I'm going Mbappe.
That's fine, but, pickup games are usually in a much smaller space.
Yeah, all right. Alexi Lalas, you'll see him on our UEFA Nations League coverage.
Today we have Portugal against Germany, and tomorrow Spain against France. So you're Mbappe
back-to-back days.
By the way, Yamal. So that's going to be fun to see.
We get Ronaldo, and then we get Yamal. I mean, that doesn't get much better than that.
And then Gold Cup kicking off here in a couple of weeks. So we got a lot of stuff going on.